this video I'm going to go into a little bit of bag of tricks that I do, some things I just come up with as hunts go bad. So on these two situations here we're going to have where the hunt was almost ruined. And what I'm talking about is you spook a pig, you spook a coyote. What do you do in those situations? You have nothing to lose. So in the first situation we're going to have here, I'm walking into an area that I took 5 pigs from the other night, and I know there's some boars still in the area looking for a sow and heat. So I'm sneaking in, but the problem we're having now is the high grass. We got waist high grass here in South Carolina in some fields. Some farmers are actually starting to cut. But as you're walking in on these areas, I check a field and then I move in 50 yards, and next thing I know I bump a pig. That's what happened. I bumped a boar. I caught him in my ODS scanner running away from me. By the time I set up the tripod and got on the form of him, I did not know if that was actually still the pig or could be possibly cows, anything, person, deer. So what I wanted to do was I started to grunt like a pig or oink, whatever you want to call it. You'll hear it in the video. And I get this pig to pick his head up and move, and I can confirm it's a pig then. I actually pull the trigger and there's a misfire on my AR. So that pig has no idea what's going on and actually starts to come closer to me because I grunt. As I jack in another round or take out my magazine, what happens is he takes off and goes. But that little trick bought me enough time. If that shell would have went off, that would have been a down hog. Now we move into a coyote later in the night. After I've taken one coyote, I'm driving out and I'm leaving, I check a spot and I catch a coyote in the higher grass. Same thing, I make a big loop around. I want to get in close to him. I want to get elevation above him so I can see into this high grass. But I lose the coyote as I'm stalking him. But I get into the area and I start to move into the high grass, and I actually kick this coyote out and he starts to take off. And you probably see on the first little clip, you'll see just a part of him going into the cows. Well, as I'm setting up my tripod and turning on my scope on my rifle, I generally keep it off as I'm moving into an area. I start to howl at this coyote, and they're horrible howls, but I still howl to it. I just want to place in that coyote's mind a little bit of doubt. I want him to stop and take that extra second. By the time I set up, get going, I look, and he actually circled above me, and he did the same thing as me. He wanted to get higher and look down into the weeds, and I got a chance and I popped this one. The video is very short and not that great, but these two videos together show you I had nothing to lose in these situations. When I spook a pig, when I spook a coyote. So what I start to do is just call to them. I do the same thing if a deer's snorting at me, I'll snort back. Sometimes it'll give you that little bit extra time and you get a few kills this way. It worked in both of the situations. It really worked. But on the first one I had a misfire, so I didn't get the pig. But try it sometime, see what you can do. If you spook an animal and it's a blown hunt, just try that little trick. Try something to get them to stop just long enough for you to get your video or to get your setup going, and maybe it'll work for you. Appreciate everybody liking and subscribing.